Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Hey, good morning, everyone. We have discussions off the air and then we have discussions on the air, right, Mayor? Oh, no. Welcome to the morning show. Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner here with us this morning, and we're going to be talking about some really important things that are going on in the city of Wellston.
Yes.
And then also, we were hoping, if you would be able to, that you would kind of give us a little synopsis about, we're coming up on the election, so we were hoping that you would give us a little bit of detail about, you guys have a levy coming up. So Mayor's here, we're going to talk about all things Wellston, but also maybe kind of talk about that levy and what it means and kind of describe what it's going to do and all that stuff, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, of course. So this kind of started out about, I was service director when this initiative started, probably about 2 years ago-ish. We were talking about stuff for the community, stuff for the children, things for them to do, activities. And the swimming pool kept coming up constantly. Swimming pool kept coming up. So we looked into it. We quickly realized we could not afford a swimming pool.
Swimming pools are such a blessing and such a curse.
They are expensive to build and they're expensive to operate.
Yeah.
And so we realized it just wasn't going to happen under our current construct. So we looked at it and we decided let's move forward with the levy. City Council agreed to it earlier this year. So we moved forward with the levy. We'll let the people decide if they want it. It's one of them things that if we do it right once, it'll last our lifetime. It'll be there. I mean, look how long the pool's been in Jackson, the one in Oak Hill. Honestly, the one in Wellston probably should still be there had it not fell into disrepair that just didn't get maintained. So taking that aside, so people get tied up on the mill. It's a $5 million levy. That does not mean we're getting $5 million. That is not how mill levies work. It's $1 for every $1,000 of assessed value. The average home in Wellston is going to be right around $100,000 appraised. So the assessed value is 35% of that.
Correct.
So the average person-ish will be around $175. That's not an exact number, but I mean, on average, it'd be around $170, $180
That's
a year.
per year.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not a huge burden, but I think the effects could be life-changing for the city of Wellston. So
okay, and let's back up for a minute and talk and talk about how you got here, because it's funny. I can remember, I don't know when it was. I don't know when the Wellston pool closed, but I do have memories, and I have no idea why I was at the Wellston pool. I don't know if it was for a birthday party or what, but I do remember being there, and then I don't know when, it wasn't there, but I do remember being young and being there. And I remember, being a kid and, we had a pool growing up, and we ended up a lot of times going to the local pool the Jackson pool, because that's where everybody was. And it was kind of a social thing. But so Jackson has a pool, Oak Hill has a pool, but Wellston had a pool but doesn't anymore. So I know that you guys, some people came to you, right? And they were like, hey, kids don't have anything to do around here. And what would be better during the summer than to have everybody kind of come together at a city pool?
yes.
How do we do that.
And that's that's where it started.
That's
So,
exactly where it started. And I'm just going back because I think that it's important as to how you guys got to the levy situation.
yes.
Because I don't know how much it costs to build a city pool. Do you know?
I do know. So we've looked at some options.
I mean, this isn't like you go buy one of those blow up ones at Walmart and throw it out there. I mean, I guess you could, but
that might not make many fans.
No.
But we looked at like Athens pool. If you looked at the one that they built, they built a very nice pool.
Okay.
Beyond what we can do. It was like $6.9 million.
It was what?
$6.9 million.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little bit of money. They are expensive. We are looking more between the $3 and $4 million range.
Okay.
We're not trying to build just a square box in the ground. We want to have slides, have a walk-in area for the little kids, have lap pools so older adults can go there, and do lap swimming. So we want it to be inclusive for everyone in the community, not just any one subset, but we want it to be for everyone.
Not a place to go throw your kids off during the summer as a babysitter.
Yep. Like we looked at the Athens pool, kind of their model is what we're going after, although we can't afford what they did, but we're looking at their model of what they did.
Because you don't want to reinvent the wheel, right?
Exactly. And it works.
If it's working for them,
it'll work for us.
Yeah, right.
They have it set up so like certain times of the day in the morning they have lap swimming for the elderly and stuff like that, and adult, I shouldn't say it's just adults. Then they open it up to the kids, and so it works really well for them. And something like that would go well in Wellston. Have the slides and stuff, the entertainment that the kids like.
Sure.
Maybe a splash pad if we can make it work in the budget. Splash pads and stuff like that. Honestly, a splash pad is just as expensive to maintain as a pool.
Which seems really weird.
They use more chemicals, as I've learned.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's throwing the water in the air.
Yeah.
So they don't hold the chemicals, and so it's just there's a lot to it. There's way more to a pool. So this is why it took us so long from whenever the idea came up to now. There was just way more to it. There's a lot to building a pool. You just don't build a pool. So location's important. We worked with our engineering company, DLZ, to figure out best location, size, stuff like that. So now we got to the point where we was ready to try to run the levy to see how the citizens feel.
Okay, and I think that's totally fair. It's all about you. So do you feel like, and this is not just for a pool, and we'll get to that in a second, because this is for a lot of other situations, but I think it's so fair what you guys are doing. Yep. Like, do you all want this for the community or do you not? And that's fair enough one way or the other, what people decide.
We're still fighting for grant money. So just because we get the levy approved and we get the grant money, we could look at other options.
Yeah.
There was people who talked about wanting a community building.
Okay.
There's more bike paths or upgrade our other parks that we have in the town. The money could be, once it's in the rec levy, it can only be used for rec levy. We can't give pay raises. We can't do sidewalks. We can't do, maybe sidewalks if it was for a walking path, but we can't pave roads with it or anything like that. It has to be recreational based stuff. And that's where there's other options that could come with this money down the road. Even once the pool gets paid off, the citizens could come together and say, hey, let's just lower the levy. We could bump it down to a smaller amount. We don't have to keep it at the $5 million.
Sure, absolutely.
Or
use it
options
for something, else that's even better for the kids and
Absolutely.
whatnot. Okay, so location. Can we talk about that, or is that a secret?
It is not. So we've already done some of the preliminary engineering for it. Where the RV park is going in down by the strip mine, by the ballparks. We've actually cordoned off a section in front of it for the pool. So that's where it would go. Is in front of the thought is when people's in town visiting our RV park to go to the ball fields or whatever, they can use the swimming pool. So it'll help drive business for that. And that's one thing we got to figure out too. Once we get past this phase, we want it to be as cheap as possible. Pardon me. For the residents of Wellston.
Sure.
And then obviously the out of town people would probably pay a different fee.
Right. That's
something
fair.
Comparative with what Athens does or Logan does.
Okay.
But yeah.
Again, you don't reinvent the wheel with this stuff. Whatever works.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Someone told me that a long time ago with the restaurant business, and it stuck with me. I'm like, you are so right, and it just keeps sticking with me. But okay, so you're talking about a pool with this levy, and but you guys are really, really bumping up your recreation department, I guess, if you would, and all the activities that you have going on, and you don't have a recreation levy, so this is inclusive with all recreation, right?
Absolutely. So that's one thing right now. Our rec department is me, Mindy, and Stacy. We don't have we really don't have one right now.
Okay.
And down the road, once the RV park gets in, we're hoping to hire a rec director out of that funds once
Okay.
it materializes. But right now we don't even have a rec director. So it's all we have some really good partners in the community. The Ohilco committee. They do a lot of our downtown stuff for us. They're great to work with.
You guys have such great people.
They do. Wellston, make Wellston beautiful.
Yes.
They run the ballpark side for us. And these are all volunteers. These are zero paid
For
people.
sure. I mean, this is so cool.
Yes, really good people putting in a lot of time. So as far as that goes, we're lucky, we're fortunate there. But there comes a point where the programs start getting so big and so many things get included that you just relying on volunteers to run it for you is just it's tough.
Somebody's got to be the head honcho.
Someone has to
along
be
the way.
steering that ship full time.
For sure.
And that's what we
Because
gotta
as the ship gets bigger, it gets harder to steer.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
And hopefully that's the direction we're going. We're trying to lean real heavy on the rec and travel industry for Wellston. Looking at what Logan did and the success that they're having.
Okay, what did they do?
So they have the natural landscape of the hiking, the trails,
Hocking Hills,
all that stuff. They're really fortunate in that regard. They have that natural beauty up there,
Sure.
which we have a lot of it down here.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
we just aren't doing much to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to lean more towards. And it just is still some of their, like even for we have now it's almost a $5 million ballpark sitting down there. Even for when people travel to come to ballparks and stuff like to come to the ball games, tournaments and stuff like that. Right now, when we talk to them, the majority of people are staying in Chillicothe. When they come from far away, they drive back to Chillicothe to stay. Or they're bringing RVs down here, and they're taking RVs and staying outside of Wellston. So if we could get them to stay local and stay here, then they'll go to our restaurants at night. Or they'll shop our shops during the day. So we're just wanting to we're just trying to bring people in to keep them in Wellston. So when they come here, they stay.
Yeah,
not just come here
sense.
and go back to Chillicothe or up into Jackson because you guys have hotels up here too.
Yeah.
That's our big goal right now is just trying to focus on that. Maybe down the road we can get a hotel in Wellston. But yeah, big dreaming.
That's a thought.
So yep, that's kind of the direction we're heading with it. So
No, and I think that's so cool. And I know this is just me personally from having the restaurant in town that when you guys you guys would have like baseball tournaments and stuff. My God, we'd have like teams walk in and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, we'll figure this out. But like there's a lot of parents and kids and whatever that travel into Wellston. And if you can keep them there, that would be fantastic.
That's what we look at. Even you take all of a track event. Last year we had the high school had a track event, filled every restaurant for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal because whenever you figure a track team brings about 20 some teams, I believe. I'm not a huge track person for the high school, but I know they have like 20 teams show up. Every team's bringing 50, 60 kids up to, and then they have the parents that show up with them, and it is just it makes a huge crowd. And if we could keep that kind of turnover, even the ball tournaments, that kind of turnover in people, it's huge for the economy. Yeah. So we really need to. I believe we need to lean that direction. So that's we're trying to capitalize on it and do the best we can.
Okay, so this levy is technically a recreation levy, from what I understand, and talking to folks. So, it would not be just to build a pool, but also to kind of spearhead and grow some of these other things that you're already doing, which would be really cool.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the business end of it. We talked about the fact that building a pool and some of the other things that you guys are really wanting to do. It's very expensive. Maintaining a pool is very, very expensive. So, you all have put on a levy, which again, election day is this coming Tuesday. Please do not forget to vote.
Yes.
There's so many statewide issues. There's so many local issues and candidates that there are to vote on this time. So please, take the time to vote. But let's talk for a minute about, and I know you touched on it, but if you have a home and this is voted in, what it's going to cost people, and how it breaks down and that kind of thing. It's a $5 mil levy.
$5 mil.
And a mil is, I'm gonna quiz you on all this.
Yep. I got notes, so
we won't take your notes from you.
Open book test. All
yes.
right. Yep. So the mil, it's $1 for every $1,000 of assessed value, and that's the big one. And
assessed
value, not appraised.
So explain that.
So appraised value is what your house is worth, or let me rephrase that, what the county thinks your house is worth.
Yes.
Because usually those numbers are not the same. A lot of people think they have a $300,000 house or $200,000 house. Then you go on the auditor's page and they say 160. You don't want to argue that number.
No, don't argue.
Yeah,
unless you want to just keep writing checks.
Yes, accept that number. But then it's only 35% of that. So whatever your appraised value is, 35% is your assessed value. And that's what the mill is on. Like we said, $100,000 home is $35,000. A $5 mil levy is $175 on that,
which is a year.
A year, yes.
So you divide that up
in half usually. So for most people, so around $80 would be 85.
So it'd be
$87.50.
Yeah, a little over 10 or $12 a month or something like.
Yeah, if you broke it up by month.
I'm gonna figure it out for you because I can't do it on my own. That's $14.6 a month. $14.60 a month.
So that's about, and that's where we were. And so the $5 mil, where that number came from, why we went to $5 mil, was for the initial cost of building the pool, to help cover that initial bill. Once the pool is built, we could possibly lower the levy down just to do the other programs in town and maintain the pool.
Okay.
Hopefully and obviously like the city of Jackson, okay, for one, the entry fee is hopefully going to be enough to cover the chemicals and the upkeep of the pool. So you're not actually,
as long as it supports itself, then cool.
And then the levy could get rolled back. Maybe the $5 mil don't need to stay. Maybe 10 years from now, we could roll that $5 mil back. And, but to get the pool built, we're going to need the money up front.
Okay.
And that's what kind of where we're at. We are applying for grants. We're on a grant. We're on the hook right now for a grant. Hopefully, I think it opens up next week. We're applying for a grant to hopefully help build the pool.
Okay.
If that gets approved, then that's one avenue we can go to save some money, and that would obviously allow this mill to get rolled back, or we can invest the money somewhere else.
Sure.
And the community can decide that. That's one of them things we like. We can hold town hall meetings, whatever they want to do, and we can decide the path for the money. So.
Okay. Very good. So what are some of the negative things and the positive things you're hearing about this levy? Because, we certainly want to approach all sides of that.
So the negative sides, some of the stuff we had, and this is, and I would say this is it's a very legitimate, I don't want to call it a concern. We had a pool before.
Yeah.
And clearly we didn't know how to maintain it and we let it fail.
Okay.
Very legitimate. Like that's fair. I mean, you can't argue that comment.
You can't argue that. It's
we
not
had
there
one,
anymore.
And it is filled in with dirt. So we obviously didn't know how to maintain it. I would say that is the city went through a lot of fiscal issues in the early 2000s.
Yep.
And I think we came out of that in a much better spot. I would say we're extremely transparent now. Our budget is not a secret. We show everything.
Correct.
And I would say one thing, if we go this path and we get a rec director and stuff like that, we probably, the city of Wellston, and we've talked about this at city council, is we probably ought to have a rec committee made up of volunteers for the purpose of guiding it. That way no one person or one administration can let what happen again.
Sure.
Because all it takes is one mayor saying, hey, I'm not funding that. Or I'm not going to allocate money towards it.
Yeah, and that's not fair either, because the community, it's the community's entity. Whether it be the ball fields or whatever, it's yours.
Agreed.
So
and all it would take is one mayor coming in and saying I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to do anything.
Yeah.
So as well, if we set it up by city council, had them approve it, we had a committee in place, something to protect the interest of the pool or the rec community for the city of Wellston. I think that's one way you could help protect it.
Okay.
But But to the point, is there any way I could ever guarantee for the rest of our natural lives that pool is going to be protected in a sovereign place in Wellston, Ohio? Of course I cannot.
Well,
but I can
here's
during
the
my
deal,
time
too.
I can.
Yeah, right. So here's the deal. Pools are easier to maintain today because people, number one, technology.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, there's just a lot more people out there with the knowledge of how to maintain and to build them properly from the get-go.
Yes.
I think that a lot of times the municipal pools that were built a million years ago are obsolete and it just doesn't work properly and you're just fighting it constantly. So, this is state-of-the-art stuff. People know how to maintain them now. We can Google it, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's a different time. You're right.
But no, there's companies out there that maintain things. There's, all kind of different. It's a whole different world now when it comes to that stuff.
Sure.
So if that's a concern, I guess I could see why it would be, and that's totally fair. But it seems to me like, with something new, it would be a lot easier to maintain. That's just my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And the concern is fair. Like, I don't argue with that. When they say it, like, I don't have a defense for it. I wasn't even here, so I can't even tell you what happened. I wasn't here for it. Outside of the stories you hear, you know what I mean?
Correct. Oh, well, and, because those must be true.
Exactly. Like, if I read it on the internet. Yeah, but it's... So I can't even speak to what happened back then, but obviously people have their feelings hurt from that time frame.
Yes.
And they were upset about it. So it's I don't downplay it. I understand it. It is a legitimate concern. And we will do a better job during our time.
Well, and does it come down to the fact of whether you believe in your administration and the volunteers and the community now or not?
True. Yep. And hopefully we've proven that we'll be good stewards. So, not really many other concerns as far as that side goes. Obviously, $5 million is a big levy.
It is. I mean, that's a big ask.
It is. It is a big ask. And so it's one of them things, do we want to invest that amount of money towards the future? Or do we want to, we can always lower it in the future and try to keep running it. And maybe we keep downsizing the pool until we get something we can pass on a levy. Or
this is kind of like taking one for the team now to for the future later.
Yep,
but it's a big pill to swallow right now. I get that.
It is, and we know it. But by no means are we downplaying it.
Sure.
And even if the levy passes, like we're not breaking ground next week, and that's another one. Like they always wanted the timeline. It's probably 2 years out. I mean, we're going to spend 1 year because you don't even get the money to the second year, so you won't even get money.
Right, because our taxes are in arrears.
Yes, so you won't even get the money for a year, and it's going to take us at least a year to get the engineering part done. So it'll probably be 2 years before the pool actually opens.
Yeah.
So that's the other question or concern we get is, how soon will it be? 2 years. I mean, that's the realistic time frame.
Sure.
But other than that, not a lot of negative. We get a lot of people who are really adamant for it because they really want it. Then you get people who are just the opposite. So it's
I get it.
Yep.
But again, that's why it's on the ballot. So go vote.
Yep. Go vote. We'll figure it out.
Speak your mind.
Absolutely. So, all it does, and I hear a lot like, "Oh, you really want this?" It's like, God, all it does is cause me work. It's not.
Yeah, you're not advocating one way or the other.
Yeah.
You're just telling the facts.
Yes, it's what the people want. Our job is to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
So,
and figure out how to run it properly
and how to run it on the backside. Yes,
effectively.
So but hopefully it'll go through. And I would like to see it. I personally would like to see it because it is tough. When our kids don't have something that you see all the other communities having. So.
Well, it's, I can remember, as I said, like I had a pool growing up, but we would get on our bikes and ride to the city pool and whatever. And you think about, I think about that movie, The Sandlot. It cracks me up because, they all went to the.
He had a similar incident he was telling me
Wendy
about.
Peppercorn. But you think about that's just something for the kids to do and gather during the summer and get, hang out with each other and get to see each other. And so I can remember city pool days. And I think everything old becomes new again. Yes. Like there was probably a time when city pools went out of vogue. And then now I feel like all of these, community events and things like that are coming back into style.
I agree. We see it a lot.
We want to get together and hang out.
I don't know if you were down. I think I saw Jeremiah down there for the.
Oh God, your Halloween thing.
The Halloween October.
He showed me pictures.
It was unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, it was Ohilco and the Lions Club did an amazing job, and they packed our downtown.
Yeah, like crazy stuff.
Yes, yep, and even like, and so you hate to tie it to the economic side, but it matters when for the city side of it. Every restaurant in town was busy that night. You know, it's
sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's good.
It's little things like that have this huge, big impact.
Absolutely. Yep. It's great. So it's good.
Well, cool.
So, you want to talk about other stuff going on in Wellston?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're wrapping up a huge project. We've been working for almost 2 years now. I started at Clearback. I mean, it's probably been going on for 3 years now. A long one. We have a $4.5 million project. We replaced all the water, storm, and sewer lines between New York from 10th Street up to Broadway and not Broadway. I'm sorry, 2nd Street, and then from Broadway up to Minnesota up to Finley Chapel. Can't think of the name words. The huge project.
That is awesome.
And it's finally starting to wrap up. We're putting new curbs in now, and we'll be paving. Hopefully before the end of the month, we'll have it all paved. People who live on Broadway, they have been absolute troopers up there because it has been a hot mess.
So frustrating for people, but it's going to be so worth it.
I feel bad. New York Avenue didn't have it nearly as bad as Broadway did because Broadway was bad before we even started. Yeah. And then we made it way worse. So
we're sorry.
I feel really bad for Broadway. But it's coming to a head. It's going to be really nice when it's done. They're going to have curbs. They're going to have a paved road now. The sewers and water lines are going to work.
That's helpful.
It is nice.
I mean, that's nice when stuff goes downhill.
Yes, we had so part of this it was shocking because it's old. I mean, it's just old infrastructure. But we had like a lot of sewer lines going right into the storm. If that doesn't concern you much,
ew.
Yeah, storm runs into the creek. It was bad.
Oh my God.
And then we had a lot of storm water running into our sewer plant, which was a big deal because now we're processing rainwater.
Which makes no sense whatsoever.
It's expensive.
Yes.
And it hurts the chemicals in our sewer plant because our sewer plant doesn't work off of chemicals. It works off of, I said chemicals, I'm sorry, but it works off of bacteria, enzymes,
and things.
And so when you flood it with rainwater, you wash those out.
Yes.
So it was a huge expense to the city. Just great. It was a $3.5 million worth of grant, $1 million worth of loan, but the amount of problems it solves.
Again, it's all worth it. It's that like initial investment to make it better for everybody.
And this fixed the two main lines. So now we can, as a city, our crews can actually start doing the smaller lines that come off of it.
Cool.
But now we got the big project done.
Gotcha.
So it was a big deal for us, big project.
Huge.
And it's wrapping up. So now we're rolling into our next big project, which is Ohio Avenue, from 2nd Street up to People's Bank. I probably can't think of the name of that street. That is A.
Yes.
We'll be ripping out the whole downtown, all new pavement, widening the road, new sidewalks, curbs, period lighting.
Super cool.
Yes, that's a huge project for us. $2.5 million, almost all of it's grant. We're only paying for the engineering. Working through ODOT and the communities grant. So it's a big one for us. We'll be basically the whole downtown's going to look new within 2 years. So
and a wonderful downtown it is. As so many people have invested into businesses and those buildings downtown.
And you see it right now. Honestly, I'm not even sure we have any. I think we have one open storefront right now. We're completely booked right now. Yeah. It'd be nice. I mean, that's the problem. There's not a lot of expansion room. We have a couple buildings that got tore down, so there's a few spots for expansion. But we're pretty booked in our downtown area right now, so it's doing well.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. It sure will.
That's a good problem to have, isn't it?
It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one.
Hey, speaking of buildings downtown, do you mind if I ask you what's going on with the Levy
yes, I do mind,
property?
Actually. Yeah, I do mind actually. No. So we have.
You can say that. I don't care.
No, we have bought the Levy. The city of Wellston has purchased it
because it kind of went all over the place there for a while. So.
It got crazy.
Yeah.
So we bought the Levy. We are actually applying for grant money right now.
Okay.
We got 20,000 coming. We're still working on it, but hopefully we got 20,000 coming to clean it out.
Okay.
It is a mess inside. The roof is laying on the ground.
Yeah, I think a lot of people drive by and they're like, "What's so bad about that building?" Well, you see the walls this way, but if you look from the top down, not so good.
It's not so good.
Yeah.
So we're working on that to get it cleaned up, and then we're also applying for a grant right now through the Appalachian Grant program. That's one of our projects, is to turn it into more of an event center. We're not going to put it back to a theater. There's enough theaters around between the one in Jackson, the one in Oak Hill. We just didn't feel a need for a theater.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned as part of maybe the rec levy that some people had wondered about a community center. Could it become something like that?
So the thought is we're going to level the floor in it.
Yeah.
That way it'll be, you're going to hold events in it.
Yeah.
Right now the depot, which is right by just a half a block away.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
It's a beautiful building. We just finished another $200,000 grant on it. It's wrapping up next month. But it's right behind it. It is booked almost nonstop for wedding events and stuff like that. If you've ever been in the depot, beautiful building, kind of small. So this building will be much bigger, and we're hoping we're not going to put a kitchen or anything like that in it, but it'll complement. So if you want, maybe rent both of them. Hold a wedding or hold a whatever event up front. You could hold the kitchen if you need anything for the dining, anything like that. You could use the depot. The buildings will complement each other instead of being independent. I know there's a big talk when we did it. One of the considerations we wanted was to put enough electricity in it through the floors and in the walls for e-gaming, to hold like e-gaming events.
Okay. Dylan like that. Look at him.
I would very much like that.
Look at him brightening up.
I honestly do not know much about e-gaming, but I know it's very popular.
This is your guy right here.
He's the man.
Yeah.
I know it's very popular, and it is.
It is.
They like dark events with lots of electricity. So that's kind of that's one of the options that we're looking at is something in that realm.
Okay.
But then still be able to do weddings, be able to have a small stage in it. So if you wanted to put chairs down and make it a multi-purpose, it can be used for anything, not just a one-trick pony.
Okay. Love that.
But we want to keep the aesthetics of the Levy.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Because they don't make buildings like that anymore.
True. So we talked about it, taking that. It was a big discussion of tearing it down. I wasn't necessarily a fan of tearing it down because once that marquee's gone, there is nothing in that downtown district. There's nothing in that downtown district that is really just stands out.
It's kind of like the Marquee in the middle of Jackson. You drive down, there's all these beautiful buildings, but the Marquee is like
it sticks out physically, but then the lights and just the grandeur of it, it's just beautiful. It is. And so I would love to see it lit back up again and be what it was. Yeah. So that's kind of the thought.
Okay. And so you guys that's still a work in progress.
It is. And
some of the, ideas are still flowing, but don't really have anything concrete so far.
Yep. We're working. We have our engineer is actually putting plans together and all that for us. And as part of that grant money, we got engineering money. So they're working on that. We're also doing part of that same grant we applied. Even if the grant doesn't get approved, we're going to get the engineering paid for. So at least we're getting something.
Okay.
We got down at the end where the old pants factory used to be, which is on 2nd Street, just down from Piggly Wiggly. We're looking at putting like an open air market kind of thing.
Cool.
So it'd be like a large shelter house with someone forgot to turn off the phone. Amateur hour here.
Amateur. Open air market.
Open air market. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But also have it set up with a section that maybe we could hold bands and stuff like that. So
awesome.
We do a Hilco, so it'll be set up versus right now where we have to bring in a stage and all that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to make it more inclusive of that downtown area, just to kind of tie all that stuff together and
really cool.
Make it a better use of our downtown. Once again, we're leaning toward that tourism and community involvement stuff. So
yeah, I like to call those all Hallmark movie things, because all of the things that you're talking about right now is like, oh, it's like a Hallmark movie, where the whole community comes together and there's the whatever festival and whatever. But it is true, and I think that that's what people have been missing for so long, and especially as we come out of a global pandemic where we were all stuck not being able to be social for a little bit. I think it was a wake-up call for a lot of people. Hey, I don't hate everybody. I really would like to go out and our small community have really cool events and stuff, and have everybody be able to show up to it. So that's cool. That's such a good idea.
Yep, I enjoy myself. So we have I love the car clubs. I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
So I love the car clubs, and I try anytime I get anyone to come bring a car club to Wellston, we welcome them.
Yeah.
We love to have it, and then we have the space for it. We have the land for it. We love doing stuff like that too. So that's just my plug for any car clubs that want to come to Wellston.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Who also eat at restaurants and spend money and shop local. Yeah. All of that stuff. But very cool. Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot of stuff going on. And are there any, so you mentioned one project coming up in the future, but is there anything else that you're working on?
Probably the biggest project we got going right now. And it's one of them things, we're going to do it and no one's even going to know it happened. We got a $20 million project we're well into right now. We're building a new water plant. Down on the South Ohio Avenue. We already bought the land. We already did the well drilling. We've already secured over $6 million towards it. Hopefully we're going to get over $11 million by the time it's all said and done. And the new water plant, I don't know why you ever would, but our water plants they're aging.
So you have two, which is kind of bizarre.
It is weird to have two.
Yeah.
One of them's over 100 years old. The other one's over 60 some years old.
Not good.
When I say they are failing, we are in a bad state of needing new water plants.
And water's kind of important for us all.
People do appreciate it.
We kind of need that within our body, you know.
So that's a huge project.
Okay.
We've been working it. It's probably one of the most time-consuming things we have outside of this New York Broadway project right now, which is wrapping up. But that's probably the other biggest thing we're constantly dealing with right now, trying to get that project moving. We are actually trying to break ground on it next year.
Okay.
So
great.
It is a much needed upgrade to the city of Wellston. But once you get that infrastructure, and once we get all this infrastructure, it's everywhere. Not just there. It's Jackson as well. It's everywhere.
Well, look at what we've been dealing with in the city of Jackson with the gas lines and all that stuff. I mean,
it's everyone.
It's a pain in the butt, but it's something that will last us, as you said, a lifetime.
It is. And once you do it once, we're never going to build another water plant. We'll build this one, and it'll outlast. It'll be there when we're all dead and gone.
Yeah.
But it has to be. We have to jump on that grenade at some point.
Yes.
We're there. So.
Yep. Like I said, you kind of need water.
You do.
Like good water, clean water.
Water that don't smell like bleach.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, very good. So you have a lot of stuff going on.
We are busy.
Is that all you're doing?
For right now, that's it. Yeah. We like to keep it simple. So.
Well, no, I think that's amazing, and Wellston is certainly up and coming and booming, and y'all are doing a fantastic job there. So kudos to you and everybody else that's had their hat in doing some of this stuff.
Yes. Yep, I appreciate it. So
absolutely. Well, if you have anything else coming up, let us know. Don't forget, if you have any questions about the levy, could they call your office?
Absolutely. Call the office. Come by the office.
Just
whatever you want to do.
Whatever.
We'll talk about whatever.
Yeah, and you'll be transparent about it. So
100%. There's no lying about any of this. It's all.
It is what it is.
Numbers are the numbers. So they don't lie.
And you either want to vote for it or you don't want to vote for it, and that's totally fine. Whatever. Just make up your own mind and go out and vote.
Yes, absolutely. Vote either way.
Either way, because if not, you can't complain one way or the other about it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner, we want to thank you so much for spending your morning with us. And I know you're a busy guy, so we'll let you get back to the big city of Wellston.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course. Come back and see us anytime.
I will. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Very cool. All right, Dylan, let's throw up that godforsaken weather forecast, if you don't mind, because there it is. And they're saying... Thank you. They're saying, so today is, strangely enough, believe it or not, the 1st of November. And there is actually some sunshine in the forecast, which is very odd to me because it was not looking sunny when I came in this morning. Highs today, though, only 45 degrees. And folks, if you haven't taken them in, I'm just telling you, your flowers are toast. So just forget it. Lows of 25 tonight, highs only of 45 today. Tomorrow, not much better, but some sunshine. Highs of 52, lows of 30. Friday, highs of 59, lows of 38. That's not so bad for your football Friday night. And then as we get on to the remaining of the weekend and beginning of your work week, not so bad, getting back up into the 60s. So we'll take that. So how you doing, Dylan? I saw you perk up when he said something about gaming tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, that stuff excites me for sure. Whenever I hear something new going on in the community of like adding more esports to things, I get very excited.
Do you think that esports is just in its infancy, like it's going to become bigger and bigger? Or do you think it's already how it's going to be?
Well, I do think it's getting bigger in high schools. Like that's definitely like a growing thing. But I don't know that it'll expand much further, mostly because of the companies that run the games. They're very like I guess strict about making sure their content doesn't profit on other people. So Nintendo just released an announcement that moving forward with online gaming, you cannot have more than I think 2,000 consecutive players or something like that. So basically, they put a cap on how big it can grow.
Okay.
That's just for one of our games. Other ones like Overwatch, they love it. So kind of
Okay.
just depends on the companies.
So does that affect, like, if you wanted to have, say you wanted to rent out the Wellston City building and have a gaming tournament, are there a lot of licenses and things like that you have to buy, or can you just have it and that's fine, or how does that work?
I think if it were to be like, for example, Back in Time Toys, they have their own gaming nights now.
Okay.
That's like down here in the main street of Jackson on Broadway.
Yeah.
But like if he wanted to do it, I think he's fine. But once it grows so big and he starts charging, then
Like
I
if
think
you're
there's
renting out a
licenses.
convention center and
Yeah,
having
like
tens of thousands of people.
like Final Boss Con. I'm sure he had to have some sort of license for that.
Okay.
Since well, no, I don't think he charged a charging fee, so I guess not.
Okay.
But I think if there's a fee involved, then you have to.
So if it's for like a for-profit thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then certain things too, like for like Smash Bros. That's the one from Nintendo where they put that license and that cap on it. Those are the ones you kind of got to worry about. But there's some other ones that don't have restrictions like that.
Okay.
But I think that also has to do with it being from a different, like part of the world.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, there you go. So you said you had something that you wanted to share with the viewers this morning.
Yeah, I do. It's called Preston's Ghost.
Okay.
And my team told me about it some time ago. They were excited to tell me about it, but they were trying to hold it like a little quieter because it's sort of like let me find it here, my Runaway Reagan. So like, see, we made it really dramatized and like got excited about it and made it a big deal, and we were just really excited to do it. So eventually, they made their own kind of thing they're excited about. This is a knockoff of Ghostbusters.
Oh my gosh. So this is the high school, is it the esports team or the media team?
Both. It's esports people that want to do media.
Okay.
But see that right there, like we made it like superheroes clashing, like Iron Man and Captain America kind of. And what they did was Ghostbusters. So we just kind of have our own themes. We follow my class, it was superheroes, and for them, I guess it's like older style content like Ghostbusters.
Okay, well, fair enough.
And Officer Blart, I guess. They have a police officer.
Yes, Officer Blart. Did you vote for yesterday when we did this or that? Did you vote for old school Ghostbusters or new Ghostbusters?
I did old school Ghostbusters.
Okay. Have you actually seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
And my favorite one, though, is the more recent one where it's like...
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
It was cool when they brought all the originals back. I guess I just spoiled it for you if you haven't seen it, but it was cool.
No, I know. I've read about it and stuff like that.
Then they did the AI ghost of the actor that actually passed away.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of, Jamie, I told you we've been watching Halloween movies, and so last night he's like, well, it's Halloween. What are we going to watch? And I was like, well, we need to watch Halloween on Halloween. So we watched the final one. It was like Jason, I forget, or not Jason.
Like the final one as in like the new final one that just came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we watched that one.
Yeah, I heard that one was really bad.
It was really weird.
You'll have to explain it to me after the show.
I'll show you.
Curious.
It is not very good.
I've definitely heard that.
I think it is because those movies, as Courtney was saying yesterday and watching all the Jason movies and stuff like that, they're almost laughable now. Actually, they are very laughable. So like what you took seriously back in, 1980 or whatever is like not quite. You can't take that and make it more modern because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I remember
like the
seeing,
cheesiness of them.
I don't even know what movie it was. I've been trying to figure it out my whole life, but I was a little kid, and there was this guy who, like, I don't know why, but he would smash people's heads in, like, they're just flat head, and then he would
Okay.
hang them afterwards.
Okay.
And I guess that was his signature trait, like, anyone that was
That
dead
sounds
that he
horrible.
killed would, like, be smashed and hung up. Yeah, it was messed up. I didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
But it always reminded me of, like, Michael Myers or Jason, but it's
Yeah.
neither of them. I have no idea who this guy was.
What was that? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that one is either, but I'm trying to think what this movie was called. Halloween Ends. Is that what
Yeah.
it was called?
I think so, and, like, I heard that Michael isn't even in it until the very end.
No, he's in it the whole time. But he's like old, so it's almost like kind of sad because you're like, he basically can't, like, in the beginning of it, he can't do anything. Like, he's weak and he's old, and so you're almost like, aw,
Poor
buddy.
Michael.
Yeah. And then the end is just really doesn't end well for him.
Oh.
Like, at all. Like, in any way, shape, or form does it end well for Michael Myers.
Mm.
So let's just say that. And Jamie Lee Curtis now is almost like, she's like this old, like, you know, she was in the original and she's been in them, but now she's like a lot older. And so they made her almost like this like crazy eccentric woman. So it's just really bizarre. Anyway.
It sounds bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, one thing bizarre that you're about to see, a high school ghost. Well,
I'm excited.
You'll have to wait to see the ghost. Well, you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
So,
How long is this video?
About 3 minutes.
Okay.
Let me try and find it here. I have everything written down, but I have a bunch of notes to myself, and I kind of lost where it's at. There it is.
On me.
Dude, they're behind us.
On me. Cover me.
What are you guys doing? Come on.
Cover me.
Dude, I'm dead.
What are you doing?
Dude, I'm learning how to play.
What?
You're not even in the game? What? What's this?
What? Why are you looking up how to...
Because you never taught me how to. That's the entire purpose of this. That's why we were putting in extra hours, so you guys could teach me. You guys are just
Trial by
sitting there
fire,
doing
dude.
nothing.
I just think we're being too hard on him. I mean... Oh, wait.
Dude, I don't see how it's my fault that he has the technical skills in this game of a 4-year-old.
Whatever. I'll go talk to him about it. Hey, man.
Listen, I don't want to talk about it right now.
It's all cool. I mean, we should probably teach you how to actually play the game next time, but you know, just getting caught up in the heat of the game, it's just it's my bad, really.
I suppose. I don't... It's just, this always happens. Every time I try to do something with you guys, it always ends up like this.
I just don't know if, I mean, I don't want to sound mean, but I don't know if Seth is a very good influence on me.
I don't think he's a very good influence on anybody. But
Well, we're stuck on a team with him, but it's all good. Well, we'll get you to learn how to speak of the devil.
Listen, I'm here to apologize that you're so bad at this game.
really, I'm bad at the game. You never taught me the game. You never did anything.
I don't understand how it's so hard to play the game.
How it's so hard to play the game? What, because I have dexterity issues? Is that what it is?
Excuses. I'm out. I'm done with this.
Yeah, leave, walk away. I can't take this anymore. We need to teach him a lesson, or it's never gonna end.
Yeah, it's looking that way, but how?
Remember last week when we watched that horror movie? And you got really scared.
I do, yeah.
I think I have a few ideas. Follow me. Divided by... No. No. Get out of here, go! Get out of here!
Loser. No, I don't have to go. Fine, I'll go. Alright, we need more ideas for skits. Want something that's funny, action-packed. Yeah, I got an idea. Put Preston in a trash can, throw him down the hill.
Perfect. What was that?
It's probably nothing.
It better be nothing.
The ghost. You don't understand. The hangers, the ghosts, they're everywhere.
The hangers. The ghosts. There's a ghost hangers.
What?
Ghosts.
Okay, man.
Ghosts.
Dude, what happened?
We freaking got him. We got him. That's not enough.
What do you mean?
We need to teach him a lesson. We need to send a message.
Okay.
So yeah, that was Preston's ghost.
Okay.
I gotta say, Walker, the guy who was playing the bully, he just plays him.
He's
so
pretty
well.
funny.
Yeah, he just perfectly suits that like bully, like old '80s kind of character.
Yes. I'm like, he looks like he should be a bully on Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know. It's fun to watch him. He was someone that I recruited last second for the program.
Yeah.
Literally, it was like 2 days before school was ending, and I was just finishing up Endgame. You remember when I was working forever on that? And I was just sitting there doing some editing, and he walked in to record a thing for media, like not media necessarily, but Rippeth. He does all tech-based classes. So it was one of those, and he just came in. He's like, "Hey, can I record something real quick?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Do you mind if I just edit?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine." So he's sitting there recording, and he started messing up on his lines, and he was just laughing. And I was like, "Hey, you want to join my team?" And he did.
That's so
He didn't
good.
even say yes. I just told, he was like, maybe. And I told Rippeth, "Hey, I think this guy might join." He was like, "Oh, yeah, he will." And he just put him on the list.
So you basically told him he was going to be on the team.
He loves it, though. He told me he
That's
always
awesome.
wanted to. He just never got around to it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, it sometimes that happens. Like, yeah, it's nice sometimes when people are just like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do this. You don't have to think about it."
Yeah. He's been fun this year. He does a lot of like other work for the program. Like for example, tonight he's staying and he's shoutcasting, like commentating like Dan and Pete, the Smash Bros game.
Yeah.
So you'll hear him like starting the show, commentating it, doing play-by-play stuff. So he's gonna do that tonight.
Very good. Now let me ask you something. This is dating myself. Is there or is there not still a school newspaper?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. So there was for a while, and then they shut it down because there just wasn't anyone to run it. Then they brought it back as a class, the journalism class.
Okay.
And at the end of the year, they would produce one newspaper. And now they've brought it back where every month they produce a newspaper, but it's digital only.
Okay.
So there is now, but it's a little more tricky. It's more of an modernized version of the old school newspaper.
Gotcha.
Was yours like weekly?
I think so.
That'd be cool. I'd love to see that.
So when you said that, that made me think of that because my senior year, for some reason, and I don't know why, I was put into the school newspaper class, and I was like, okay. Because I didn't like, it wasn't like something I signed up for or whatever, but they put me in it and I loved it. It was fun, you know, and it was just like one of those things. I remember asking a teacher, like, I didn't sign up for this. Why am I here? She's like, you belong here. It's fine. Like, you just need to be here. And I was like, okay. And then it was like fun, you know? It was
Yeah,
like
so like
something
the
I
teacher
really
just
enjoyed.
picked you more than you picked
Yeah,
it.
I don't know, or somebody picked it for me, but like then she was like, "No, you stay," and I was like, "Okay, cool, I'll stay."
Yeah,
So,
the newspapers are fun, and
and yearbook
was
too, like
yeah,
yearbook. Is that
yearbook
still a
is
thing?
not really, kind of. So there was a newspaper team, a yearbook team, and a media team. And the person in charge of the yearbook was leaving, like she was going to go do something else and
Okay.
just left the job. So the media director decided to pick up the yearbook because he figured when we photograph events for media purposes, we can just put them in the yearbook
Okay,
and it won't be that much extra work. And then the new person that was hired that would have taken on the yearbook took on the newspaper.
gotcha.
So it was kind of a bit of a flipping around situation.
So like you graduated last year. Did you have a yearbook
Mhm.
last year? Is it a physical book or is it like a digital thing?
No, we have actual books.
Oh, okay. Because I just
Yeah.
feel like that would be really sad. Like people still sign them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would be really sad if all that like just went to some digital thing. Because
That
like
would
it's
be because it is an actual
it's
book.
fun to like go back under your old bed, you know, and you pull them out and you read them. You're like, oh my god, I totally forgot about that. Like some little joke or something.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
And I'm trying, I don't know if it'll happen, but before I graduated, it was a project of mine, and I don't know what'll happen with me being an advisor. But I want to make it where a comic series produced by our media team goes into the yearbook every month. And my idea for it was Salesman Jim, the comic.
Gotcha.
And we produced 2, and they were funny. One of them was my cartoon magic bottle or whatever. So he was trying to sell you a bottle, and then it would make you a cartoon. So he was like, it was just a little joke of how he became a cartoon, basically.
Gotcha.
And then he produced another comic, Garf's Man Jim. It was Salesman Jim, and he's Garfield. Like he's laying on a counter, and he's eating lasagna and everything.
Gotcha. No, that would be a good idea. And those would be
It
like
would've been
inserted
fun.
in the yearbook too.
Yeah, I just thought that would be a good like combination between both of us.
Yeah.
And I almost did it, and then I graduated.
Dang it, Dylan.
I ran
You
out of time.
big old mess up. You had
Ran
to
out of time.
graduate.
Yep.
It is funny how you run out of time, but no, I wondered about like the school newspaper and the school, you know, yearbooks and all that stuff. If that was still a thing.
So we're running a little low on time, and there's one more thing I want to
Okay.
play.
Shove it, Freddy Krueger. So I saw, God, I wish I had sent it to Dylan. I hate you! Oh my God!
Just the way.
I hate you. I saw,
Just the
God, I wish I
moment
had
right
sent
there.
it to Dylan. You just had to relive that, didn't
I
you?
had to.
I haven't. I saw Jeremiah this morning. Got all nervous.
Yeah. It's just he shared it on Facebook, and he said, "Who knew an Italian plumber could be so scary?"
I mean, I just wonder if he hadn't have been dressed up like Luigi, if I'd have been even more terrified.
Yeah, I think if he was like a coyote or a wolf or a vampire or something, you would have freaked out more. Or we could have had him be Michael Myers.
Dude, that had probably done me in. I don't know. Like I probably would have not been here anymore. Like I'd have been mud on the floor or something. No, that you guys got me good. I will say.
Dude,
That was priceless.
I think an Italian plumber was the best choice.
Yeah. Then it was like everyone knew. Well, it was so funny because I'm like, why is everyone standing in the hallway out there? I know there's donuts and whatnot, but like, why are they all standing out there?
I was thinking like where I had the gorilla costume, it might have been better than the plumber costume. But I was like, no, she would know something's up immediately if the monitor's down. Jeremiah's doing the computer and Dylan's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, you're exactly right. No, I will give you guys kudos. You got me good. What did Matt say? The scream heard round the world or something?
Yeah, he said people were calling in and telling him like, "Hey, what's that screaming?" I wouldn't be surprised if you could hear it on KOV.
Oh, I'd say.
And Pure Rock.
Dan Morrow stopped in to tell me that I was a really good actress. Said, I wish I was acting. I wish I was that good at it. All right. Yes, I will give you guys that one. You just wait. Paybacks. I just got to think of one.
I don't think there's anything else you could do. This room's fairly small.
I know. There's not a lot of places to hide.
I mean, unless you hid under my desk, but you'd have to get here pretty early for
You
that.
probably have to get here pretty early for that. Yes. Whoopee cushion. I'll get you with that.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, we better get out of here for the day. We want to thank Mayor Anthony Brenner from Wellston stopping by to talk to us and explain a little bit about that levy that they have coming up and also some of the other projects that they're doing in Wellston, which may or may not sound all that exciting, but they're going to be very, very good for the community.
They definitely would be.
With the sewer and infrastructure projects and water and all that. So, all right. Well, thanks, Dylan.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Well, we'll see you back here tomorrow. With we don't know what, right?
He's from cross country in Vinton County.
Okay.
I forget his name.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll see you then. Bye bye.